Hello and welcome to Teen Christian Ministries Live. That's TCM Live. And we are embarking here on a journey. This is our preview program. We thank you for joining us. I am Pastor Larry Roy, and my co-host is the fabulous Abby Berry. We thank you for those of you who are joining us. Abby, say someone's sitting at home and they want to know how they can join us tonight. We've got some tips for them, don't we?
If you are watching us and you have your Ustream account up and you want to chat, you're going to have to set up an actual account for yourself. It's super easy. It's free, totally user-friendly. And also, if it's a subject that you'd like to keep private, you can email that to us. Just go to our info tab on the Facebook page and grab our email address from there. If you do chat on the Ustream page, we ask that you uncheck the Facebook and Twitter boxes, because if you don't, it's going to show up on your Facebook wall.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Well, tonight in this program, what we're going to be talking about is social pressures. Abby, for those of you at home, maybe you don't quite know exactly what social pressures are. Our teenagers are experiencing more pressure than ever before, not only in schools, but also in our churches, in our homes. It's something that reaches into literally every home in some form or fashion. There are many different types of social pressures. There are many different causes of social pressures. Some causes of social pressures are parents. Yes, parents, believe it or not, you can be social pressures towards your children. I know a lot of times in the churches that I see, we have people that simply come and drop their children off because they want them to be able to go to church, yet they don't really know anything about the church. So they will drop their children off, expecting them to get God when they know when they come home they're not going to be able to fulfill the parental end of the bargain. And what this is, it's like a chain reaction, though, because you take it from the parents and you take it in the homes, it moves on to the schools, where you have people, friends, you have bullies, you have people that are trying to get our teens to do things that they don't want to do. That's the whole pressure end of it. And I know that this has been around. It used to be called peer pressure. This has been around a long time. And one of the biggest things behind this is the adversary is taking things that have been prevalent in past years, and all he's doing is slowly increasing the influence. He's increasing the influence when it comes to drugs. He's increasing the influence when it comes to sex. You have a lot of families now. They're really not even families anymore, Abby. They're broken homes where you have a single parent family. You have a mother that's doing her best to support her children, so she works 2 or sometimes even 3 jobs. And she's trying to scratch by, but her kids never see her. And so when she goes to school, when she goes to church, he has the potential to have all of these problems come at him. All of these people come at him or her, telling them that this is the answer. Whether it's drugs, whether it's sex, whatever. Everyone wants to be accepted. You also have the spiritual aspect of it. You have the classic good versus evil. You have the Christian versus the worldview. You've got pressures from both sides. You can look, again, within our schools. You can look within our churches. You can see these people that, man, they're there every Sunday. They're there every Wednesday. But just because someone goes to church, I heard the old saying that going to church and being in a church makes you a Christian about as much as being in a garage makes you a car. Now, I know that's kind of corny, but there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah. Just because you're at church every time the door is open doesn't mean that you're living a life that is pleasing to Christ. And so it's mixed signals that we're sending. Now, one of the things that we're really going to talk about on this program tonight, we're talking about bullying. This is a word that I know personally in my own ministry, I have heard used more within the last 3 or 4 months than I've ever heard it.
Right.
And it's alarming. Abby, you've got some statistics, right?
Yeah, bullying has reached epidemic proportions in schools and our communities. I mean, even in church. It says here that 66% of youth are teased at least once a month, and nearly 1/3 of them are bullied at least once a month. 6 out of 10 American teens witness bullying at least once a day. And for children in grades 6 through 10th, nearly 1 in 6, or 3.2 million, are victims of bullying each year, and 3.7 million are bullies themselves.
And according to these figures, the numbers are continuing to rise every month. Abby, I want to go back to that just a second. Think about that. You at home, you that are watching on your laptops, you're watching on your home computers. Really think about that last statistic. For children in grades 6 to 10, nearly 1 in 6. Teenagers at home, get 5 of your friends to stand around with you. 1 in 6, or 3.2 million, are victims of bullying each year. And 3.7 million are bullies. And it says that this number is rising. Some other statistics really quick on this. It is estimated that 160,000 children miss school every day due to the fear of attack or intimidation by other students. The source on that is the National Education Association. There are many different forms of bullying. One is physical, hitting, kicking, punching, scratching. You know, things that some of you may laugh to each other about when it's not you. You know, things like spitting, any form of physical attack. Damage to or taking someone else's belongings may also constitute as physical bullying. You know, we didn't call it that back when we were in school. You know, I used to see it a pretty good bit on the playground. You know, in the cafeteria, wherever you were, you'd have 2 or 3 people, and they were picking on someone else. You know, and usually that crowd grew, and it wasn't until I was much older that I realized that you know, when you're that age and you see so many people that are coming against you, it's really, 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 it's tough for anyone, but it's really tough for our Christian teens nowadays
Right.
in the school system. It just is, guys. We know it's tough on you. That's why we have this program here. That's why we're in existence, is to help you through these times in your life that you really need us. Don't forget to create an account on Ustream. You know, you've got something to say, you want to chat there, create an account there. Now that's an open chat there, okay? It's an open chat. If you need something, you're really wanting to talk to someone and you want it to be private, there are other avenues. You can shoot us an email on that. But we know what it's like. We've been there. We've seen it with our own eyes. We want to help. And it's not just physical. A lot of you have experienced verbal bullying. That's the name calling. You know, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too stupid, you have buck teeth. It's name calling, it's insulting, it's making racist remarks, sexist remarks. Somebody teasing you, using sexual suggestive references, abusive language, offensive remarks, however you want to word that. I like how that's worded there. It sounds so proper. But when you get right down to it, it's just the potty mouth. That's what we used to call it. Mama used to call it the potty mouth. You know? That's what it is. It's when anything that anyone says towards another person causes damage. And you can always tell by the look on someone's face. I usually tell people in times like that, one of the best ways to know if you should say something or not is to pause just a second before you say it. If you're having to talk yourself into saying it, if you're having to build yourself up into saying it towards someone because you know it's going to be hurtful, then you need to stop right there and quit trying to talk yourself into it.
Right.
Whether it's a moment of anger, whether it's a moment of jealousy over someone else. Because no one likes to be called a bully. But that's exactly what we're being. There are also ways, Abby, there are also ways here, it's got listed, of indirect bullying. Spreading nasty stories about someone. What do we call that?
Gossip.
Gossip. Good old-fashioned gossip. Think about social media. They call that cyberbullying. You can do a web search on that, and you can find all kinds of things, all kinds of cases, legal cases, of people that have gotten in trouble for cyberbullying. That is, and I want you to check this out. There's 7 things that's listed here that I want you to think about, okay, on cyberbullying. I know it sounds like a kind of a crazy futuristic name, cyberbullying, but it's a really serious thing because you've got to be careful how you conduct yourself. One is text message bullying. Oh, Pastor Larry, I've never been guilty of that. I've never done that. Half of you just looked over at your buddy and are like, oh, wow, I've done that. 2, picture video clip bullying via mobile phone cameras. I know a case that I recently read, I think it was on one of the news home pages or something, was talking about how this one kid was he was bullied, he was beat up, and no one would have ever really known it because he probably wouldn't have went to anyone else, but they videotaped it with their phone. They recorded it with their phone and they were showing other people. Phone call via mobile phone, taking your cell phone out, popping that baby open, and say you don't send the text, say you're so upset, or your friends around you that are supposedly cool, or they're egging you on to do it, and so you pick that cell phone up and you call that number that you got from one of them, or maybe you acted like you were that person's friend and you got that number, and you call them up and you start in on them. Email bullying. Good old-fashioned email, right? Yeah. A lot of you out there probably don't remember a time before email. Yeah. I remember a time when there wasn't any mail. You just had to go outside and use smoke signals. There's chat room bullying. You go to a chat room, log onto a chat room, and the funny thing about this is that I've noticed on chat room bullying is the people, usually on a lot of these other forms of bullying, Abby, people usually know who they're bullying. It's like some girl at school that you don't like because you secretly think she's prettier than you, or some guy that's on the football team and you just don't get along with him because he thinks he's all that, and you really know you're all that, and so he's trying to take your crown from you. But on the chat room bullying, a lot of times people will just go into chat rooms and they'll just unload on people. Right. They will just start saying mean and derogatory things. And there have been actually cases in this of chat room bullying where people have killed themselves over it. I mean, think about it out there, guys and girls. Think about it, teenagers, youth. Think about you logging onto a chat room, Say me and Abby, I don't know Abby, and I log on and I see her username on the chat room, and it says Super Vanilla, and I don't like vanilla because my cat's allergic to ice cream or something. So I get on there, right, and I log on there and I just start harassing her. I just start unloading on her because I don't like her username or I don't like her picture. I'm like, your glasses look all whacked. Think about this though. Think about the person behind the username. Think about the person behind the glasses. Think about the person behind the remarks that you're throwing at them. What do they suffer from? What's going on in their lives? You know what? Maybe they come to school. Maybe they come to church. Well, it doesn't happen at church. Maybe they come to church. Maybe they've got a chip on their shoulder. Maybe they've got a bad attitude. Maybe they like to pick on other people. I'm turning this around just a little bit because I want you to see this. Maybe they've got some really bad stuff going on at home. So those of us that have been bullied, because I have been bullied, yeah, I realize, I'm sitting down, you probably can't see, but I'm 6'3", and a tad bit over 200 pounds. But that wasn't always the case. I was a little boy that had to put up with bullying the same as a lot of people did, and I remember how that felt. But there's something you have to realize on that is maybe the reason that some of these people bully other people is because their home life is so horrible. They're so insecure within themselves that they don't know how to reach out for help. Now, if you look at it that way, those of us that have been bullied, yeah, I'll talk to you for just a second. Yeah, quit talking to her and look. Yeah, hi. They're like us. We're similar. God made all of us. He wired all of us, and we're each special in our own way. God wants us to come to know Him. God wants us to experience His love and His grace. And if you're a Christian out there and you're listening to this, it's genuine talk. But it shouldn't just be talk. It should be action. These people that are doing these bullying tactics, sometimes maybe they just need a friend. Maybe they need a Christian friend. Maybe they need to see the life of Christ being walked before them. Those of us that have been bullied, or you are being bullied, you can be that light. There are places that you can go. I'm glad you asked. You can go to church. Oh, I haven't tried that, Pastor Larry. I've been to a church. I go to a church. You go there, but do you really take in what it's all about? That's one thing I always stress to my youth, and Abby, I know that you do to your teen girls that you deal with, is do you really know why you're here? Is it all fun and games? Or is there something behind that? You can go to your church. Get a youth pastor that you can talk to. Get a youth worker that you can talk to. Find a pastor that you can talk to. Find maybe a coach at school that you can really relate to. There are different places that you can go, guys, because a lot of times, especially we Christians, Abby, you know it, we Christians, we tend to pray. We'll be like, "Dear Lord, I really need you to help me." And then we take these right here and we sit on them. Mm-hmm. And we're like, "God, I'm waiting for you to reach out to me because I'm hurting." That's a genuine feeling. But here's the thing. If we're sitting on our hands and God sends someone up to us to help us, maybe it's a youth pastor, maybe it's a fellow teenager, maybe it's somebody you don't know, maybe it's that person that gets picked on at school, and man, if you're seen even talking to them, your reputation is dead. Maybe they're reaching out to you. Maybe one of your parents is reaching out to you. Maybe one of your friends' parents that you're real close to, they're like a mom or a dad to you, is reaching out to you. If you're a Christian, you have that hope in your life. You know that Christ resides in you. You know the Holy Spirit's there. But you have to reach back. That's why our motto here at TCM Live is you are not alone. God promised that He would never leave us, nor would He ever forsake us. And He is not going to do that. I know some of you are going through some things right now, and you think there's no way out. I promise you, there's a way out. There's a way out of the struggle you find yourself in now. If it's bullying, there's a way out of that, man. You don't have to go dig into other people's lives and just rail on them. You don't have to do that. You've got all this pain built up inside of you, all this anger. Let it out in the right way. Talk to somebody. You're the one being bullied. You know what? That causes a lot of pain and anger to build up in your life as well. Talk to somebody. That's the problem here. I know a lot of you are joining us from other places, other states, but here in Ouachita Parish, Louisiana, we've got a lot of bullying going on here right now. Maybe some of you in other areas are like, "Oh yeah, I know that." But we've also got, and I will briefly touch on this and move on because it's a subject for another show, but we've had a lot of suicides. There is another way. That is not the answer. Now, dealing with bullying, especially cyberbullying, because social media is so big right now. You've got let's see, MySpace. No, MySpace is dead, right? All right, you've got all right, we got Facebook. Ooh, everybody's on Facebook, right? That's how some of you are joining us, right? Facebook? Yeah, Facebook. We're on Twitter. Man, they got so many of them. It's not even funny. Even places.
Tumblr.
Yeah, Tumblr. Somersault, Kickstand. Yeah. But social media is really big, especially right now, and it's growing, man. Because let's see, I don't have my phone because I didn't want it to and mess it up while we were doing this. But You can access anything at any time now.
Right. At your fingertips.
At your fingertips. I remember when you still had the old rotary phones that you had to pick up. And you had to, man, that thing weighed like a lot. And you had to pick it up and put it up to your ear, right? And then you go. And then if you messed up, you had to stop and you had to hit it and do it all over again. Yeah, rotary phones. Google that. Rotary phone. You'll thank me for it. All right, anyway, we've got things now, social media. It's really cool, man. I love it. I'm glad that we're living in a time where we can do that. But, when it comes to cyberbullying, Abby, you've got some topics to talk to us about, right?
The first thing is one way to prevent cyberbullying is to always think about what you post or say. Don't share secrets or just certain photos you don't want people to see or anything that might be embarrassing to you or even to other people. I mean, be considerate of other people. My teen girls that I work with, they know that I will never post an embarrassing picture of them.
Little camera.
Ever post an embarrassing picture of them. And so just stuff like that.
Oops.
You better watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna delete that when I get home. My nameless child. That I won't say it over the www. Okay.
The next one is to set privacy settings on your accounts to make sure that you're only sharing information with people that you know and trust. I had somebody tell me the other day that the internet is a black hole, and then once you put something out there, it's out there. Yeah. And so you should really consider like personal information. You don't want to just put everything out there. Even a lot of you kids, teenagers, I would recommend not putting your cell phone numbers on your Facebooks. I don't really think there's a need to have your cell phone number on your Facebook, personally. It can be dangerous. Yeah. What do you think about that?
That is something that I know different families see things differently. And we just lost, I was looking at the stats here, we just lost 150,000 viewers when you said to not put your cell phone number on your Facebook account. But here's the thing on that, guys. Something you got to realize that, these I don't know if your parents let you watch it or not, or if your parents might watch it, but there's this the Lifetime Movie Network, stuff like that. They got these movies on it about various things. I think they had one time I was flipping through the channels because I was trying to find the Saints game. Super Bowl champions. And it was about predators. It was about online predators. And something that you really have to realize, man, you know what? If they're making movies about it and the police are talking about it and you've got all these organizations that are talking about it, it really does happen. It really does. And when you give people personal information like fabulous Abby Berry was sharing here, talking about, you didn't see that, talking about the privacy settings and talking about being careful what you post. Think about how much stuff you put on Facebook.
Right.
I mean, think about how much stuff you post. A lot of you post your age, so they have your birthday. They have your name. A lot of you post your location, so they know where you're at. If someone is stalking you, there's another term for it they're saying now. What is it now? What do they call it now? Our moderators know? What do they call it now? Right. They got a new thing where they call it on Facebook. I heard it the other day. Someone said I was doing it to them, but I really wasn't. Oh, it was something like stalking, but it was something else. Anyway, okay. Creeping. That was it. Creeping. Yeah. And some of you are going, man, this guy's old. You didn't know what creeping is? They were creeping. They said I was creeping. But I was not creeping. But, you've got to be careful because people are doing that. They want your personal information. They want to know where you're at. They want to make fake profiles so that they can contact you, figure out what's going on with you. Maybe they want to kidnap you. I mean, it could. Don't laugh. It could happen. You just don't know. And here's something else too. The more you put out there, the more people can use against you. It's just the truth. There's a difference between big difference between following the crowd and making wise choices. Little side note, this one's for free and we're going to move on real quick with some of this other stuff, but think about it. Everything that the world wants you to do that's cool, I like doing that. You'll see me do it. Cool. Everybody try that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cool. Yeah, I like that. Everything that's cool in the world leads towards death. Have you thought about that? Drugs, death. Alcohol. Oh no, I don't believe. I think you can drink a little bit. Yeah, it'll mess your liver up and all that good stuff. People get behind the wheel and die from it all the time. Yeah. Premarital sex. Pastor Larry just said sex. If we got any parents that are watching, I'd like to quote on that. I'd like to say something on that real quick. If we don't teach them about sex, someone else will. Chances are someone else already has. All these things fit together, though. I mean, you look at bullying, these are different ways that people can get to our children, can get to you teens. All of these pressures mount on your shoulders. That's why it's important on these privacy settings. I know it doesn't seem like the two connect, but don't give them the ammunition. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's moving on now.
Okay, so if you or someone you know is being cyberbullied, it doesn't have to be that way. There are some things that you can do to help yourself and your friends. The first one is to talk with somebody you trust. Maybe one of your student leaders or a parent. Talk to your parents. And there's people there who want to help you. There's adults that want to help you. Reach out to them. The next one, don't respond to cyberbullying. If somebody tries to bully you, you just don't respond. If they send you a mean text, don't reply. Keep evidence of cyberbullying. This is another one. Because if you do go to adults, you want to be able to hand them the proof. Don't delete them. Save them. Yeah. We've had this happen in the past with people that we know. Keep those text messages. Keep those voicemails as long as you can, and show them to the adults that need to see them. The next one is to block the person who is cyberbullying you. I guarantee you that all of you know how to block somebody on Facebook. So,
I've heard of people that's been blocked so many times.
Larry likes the block button. And also, there's a lot of websites and phone companies that let you block people, like Facebook does, and all of your phone companies nowadays will let you block people pretty easily. Cyberbullying also may violate the terms and conditions of a lot of these services, so these people can get in serious trouble for doing this stuff. The next would be report the incident to your school. Talk to your school counselors. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you. And ultimately, whatever you do, we just want you to ask for help. That's just to reiterate that. Ask for help. Talk to your school counselor. Talk to your parents. Talk to any other adult leaders that are in your life.
All right, real quick, here's some facts. Here's some things I want you guys to think about, okay? Parents watching at home, teenagers, I want you to think about this stuff, okay? This is for people who are bullied. They have a higher risk of depression and anxiety. That may persist into adulthood. You think it'll just be over after this year? It might very well be, but if you don't deal with those thoughts and their feelings now, the bullying itself may not persist. It may end. But if you cast off these thoughts and these feelings and you don't get help for them, if you don't face them, then it's going to cause problems. Increased feelings of sadness and loneliness, changes in sleep and eating patterns, loss of interest in activities. Having increased thoughts about suicide may persist into adulthood. In one study, adults who recalled being bullied in youth were 3 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts or inclinations. They're more likely to have health complaints, decreased academic achievement, more likely to miss, skip, or drop out of school, more likely to retaliate through extremely violent measures. In 12 of 15 school shooting cases in the 1990s, the shooters had a history of being bullied. People who bully others have a higher risk of abusing alcohol and drugs, getting into fights, vandalizing property, more likely to engage in early sexual activity, more likely to have criminal convictions. 60% of boys who bullied others in middle school had a criminal conviction by age 24. Listen to this, parents. 60% of boys. You think he's just manning up and guarding his turf and looking out for who he is and really coming into his own? 60% of them who bully others in middle school had a criminal conviction by the age of 24. Listen to this. Husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, they're more likely to be abusive towards their romantic partners, spouses, or children as adults. All right, Abby, real quick. Fact or fiction? People who bully have power over those they bully.
Fact.
Ding, ding, ding. What does she win? All right. Yes, that is a fact. If you are being bullied, you're letting that person have power over you. You don't have to let them have power over you. Those of you that are bullying, you like that power trip, that's a false power, my friend. You can't rule out of fear. You can't. You cannot succeed out of fear, the fear of others. You're just as scared in your heart and your mind as those that you're making scared, and you know it. All right? Spreading rumors is a form of bullying.
Fact.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Spreading rumors. Spreading rumors. Oh, that's not a rumor. I heard it from so and so who my brother-in-law's uncle's favorite cab driver gets his haircut at this place, and they know Kirk Cameron, and they said that he said that they heard that he had done that. But that's not rumors, is it? No. Rumors is a form of bullying. Oh, I heard so and so was pregnant. I heard so and so did this. Quit spreading it. It's bullying. You're hurting someone's life. Abby?
How about only boys bully?
That is a myth, my friend.
That is a myth. And people actually think that boys only bully physically, but it's actually proven that girls and guys bully verbally, socially, and physically the same amount, especially as they get older.
Hear that? The same amount.
Same amount. Just as bad.
You don't find that very often between the sexes. All right, we'll do one or two more, and then we'll have to close it.
People who bully are insecure and have low self-esteem.
I'm going to say fact.
Myth.
Oh.
It says many people who bully are popular and have average or better than average self-esteem. They often take pride in their aggressive behavior and control over the people they bully.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
Yep. And they also say here that it can also be a way for them to gain social status.
Ah. I also see here
moving up the social ladder.
It talks about people who bully may have poor social skills and experience anxiety or depression.
Right.
Wow. All right. One more. Let me ask you this one.
Okay.
Bullying often resolves itself when you ignore it.
I'm going to go with that as a big fat myth.
That is a myth. It says here, bullying reflects an imbalance of power that happens again and again. Ignoring the bullying teaches students who bully that they can bully others without consequences. Adults and other students need to stand up for children who are bullied and to ensure they are protected and safe. One thing I have to go back to, and I have to actually disagree with one of the things that you were talking about, and I know it's actually in our statistics, but I'm going to tell you from a Christian standpoint, where it talks about people who bully are insecure and have low self-esteem. That may be true, that it's a myth in the world's eyes, but as followers of Christ, as a follower of Christ, I don't believe that that's true. I believe that anyone that will bully someone else, I believe that anyone that will seek power over anyone else is because they know that anything they might gain is temporary. Because you see, we're all wired, here in closing, I want you guys to think, we're all wired to serve God. Each one of you is special. You are so special that God knows the number of hairs that are on your head.
Right.
And He wants to bless you. Man, remember our motto. You are not alone. Teen Christian Ministries, TCM Live. If you need to shoot us an email, we're on Gmail. It's tcmlive@gmail.com. That's tcmlive@gmail.com. Feel free to leave some positive feedback on our Facebook page. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We want to make a difference in our communities. We want to make a difference in the lives of teenagers. We would like to thank very quickly First United Methodist Church for supporting us in this. We would like to thank The Voice for giving us a place to come and to be able to broadcast this. We would like to thank the number of generous supporters. Right. If you'd like to be a supporter, get in touch with us. We don't make anything off of this. We store the treasures in heaven. You know, we do make something off of it. We make disciples. We want to make disciples. TCM Live, you are not alone. Thank you, and good night.